let's take a look at a very cool GPIO board for the Flipper Zero. This GPIO board is made by Speexvocon, and it's an NRF24 Mousejacking and Wi-Fi scanning Deauther GPIO board for the Flipper Zero. Now it's a combination, as you can see here. Here's the board. So this is a combination board. It has the NRF24 and an ESP01. So right there, NRF24, ESP01. It has the reset button over here and the program button right over here. It has a toggle switch, and it will switch you from the NRF24 to the ESP01, just like that. Now there's a couple firmwares you can flash on this thing. There's a Wi-Fi deauthor firmware, and there is a Wi-Fi essentially like sniffer or scanner. Actually, it's a Wi-Fi scanner firmware on there. Now I have the scanner firmware on there, and it's my favorite for this chip, and I'll show you why. So first thing we'll do is we'll plug it in. And I have my switch on the right hand side here. Turn on the flipper. Got a little chirp out of that. All right, let's try the Wi-Fi scanner. And I'll show you why I think it's cool. So first thing I'll do is I'll go to my apps, GPIO, and we will go to, ESP, GPIO, ESP, and then at the very bottom, Wi-Fi scanner. There it is. So I click on this, it does a little scan. Then it tells me how many SSIDs it's found in that scan. So it found 12, and I can cycle through them. And then if I want, let's pick one that's not so far away. It's a little far. We'll try this one right here. I can select that one, and then it'll tell me, the decibel range. The closer I get to whatever this device is, that number will change. The farther I get from it, the number will change. And so this gives me a good idea if I've got a hidden AP somewhere under a table, a hidden access point behind a wall, or under a couch, or hidden under something, and I just can't find it. This will help me get into the general direction of where the device is. And if I go back, it does another scan. You can see I have 14 now. Take a look at this. And the closer I get, that decibel range goes down. The farther away I get, the higher it goes up. And again, you can gauge how far something is for you. You can allow yourself to position APs in a way that you know is going to be strong for the location you're in, or where you want to sit to do your work, right? You can make sure that you're placing APs in the right position so that you get that great signal. And this can help you do that. So placing APs, finding signal, stuff like that. Really great. Now I'll switch it over to the NRF24. And now let's do a little, Wi-Fi sniffing, or mouse sniffing. So I go all the way down to the NRF24 sniffer. And there we go. So normally you wouldn't do this. You'd keep it at 4 seconds or 2 seconds at least. But I've had luck using half a second. And so what I have here is one of my Logitech dongles that I know has not been updated, so it works. And we're going to see if we can scan it. Now I've scanned it before and it's in my database, so it won't come up as unique if we find it, but it will come up as found. So let's take a look here. I'll stick it on my computer now. There we go. Mouse is on. Start messing with that mouse. Yep, tell you it's working on my screen. And now we will start the sniffing. I'll just keep this moving. And one thing about the sniff, you'll see as this goes through, if it thinks it's going to catch something, it'll kind of pause for a second. So let's see here. And it hasn't found anything yet. Let's just keep searching. And it eventually will. Sometimes you got to cycle through a couple of times. And then it'll go here. Let's try the sniff again. It defaults at 4 seconds. We'll go back to half a second. And we'll see if we can catch it now. Didn't start it yet, did I? There we go. Oh, interesting. So this will happen sometimes where this app will freeze up. So let's reset the flipper. You know, this being very open source, very kind of undergroundy, sometimes these apps do that. So we'll go back here, GPIO, NRF24. We'll go back to the sniffer and go back to half a second and see if we can find this. It scrolls through pretty quickly in half a second. You'll see some of those numbers it kind of stops at because it is sniffing. It thinks maybe it found something. And so it will kind of stop there and take an extra look. Oh, looks like we found something right there. So we found that. Now, once we find something, we go back and it'll be in our database now. So it will be in Mousejacker. Boom, and you can see it right there. So what I can do, just to verify this is working, let's see here. We'll just go to demos, and then we will go to Windows, and let's see if it works. I can currently confirm that it is working. On my screen right now, it's actually writing something in Notepad. And here, you know what, I'll show you. This is what it's doing. And there it is. The little Mousejacker. Kind of cool, right? So we've seen on this device right here, this board, that we're able to run these two chips, the NRF24 and the ESP01 by Speexvocon for the Flipper 0.